Lock in America! It's time for Straight Talk! This is the Wayne Dupree Podcast, hosted by Wayne Dupree, with co-host Jason Robertson, delivering powerful opinions, arty debates on politics, entertainment, and the hottest stories. No spin, just honest takes and real conversation! The Wayne Dupree Podcast is lit! Let's get into it right now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. It is June 16th, 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the Dupree Report. My name is Wayne Dupree, and you're watching us live. I am broadcasting from the Eastern Shore, Red Voice Media. Don't forget to check out rvmnews.com if you have not already, and also talkred.com. Their news aggregator. They look a whole lot better than Drudge Report, and you can find them on Getter. As a matter of fact, let me check out something real quick. And let me see for anybody. Nope. Don't get it. I was talking with Getter. I was talking with Getter last night. I was talking with, looks like they might have some software that's going to stream to all the services. So they're going to let me know when that comes out, and maybe we might make the switch over to Getter. But yeah, so
is it going to be easier than Rumble Studio?
I don't know. I mean, hopefully. I asked. The main thing I asked was, will I be able to stream to other places? And yeah, I mean, it says Getter's connected, but it's ever since the beginning of June, it has not. Thank you, Rumble, for, I guess you and Getter don't get along, I guess. I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, Jason Robinson from Minnesota. What's up, Jason?
Hey, folks. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the Wayne Dupree Podcast. So happy to have you here. Do us a favor as we get going. Give us a like, give us a comment, hit the share button, help the show get reach.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we get started, I just want to, you just heard what almost happened on the White House lawn. Here's the thing about days like today. They remind you the ground under your feet is never as solid as what you think. Not your safety. No, not your safety and not your savings. And while you can't control the chaos, you can control how much of the future is sitting in a dollar that loses value every single year to inflation and to a national debt that nobody in Washington is really serious about fixing. That's why we give you the information. We try to point you to Augusta Precious Metals. Their gold and silver programs have outlasted every panic, every war, every crisis of confidence in paper money. Now, Augusta carries a A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, a AAA plus rating from Business Consumer Alliance, and a 4.9 out of 5 across thousands and thousands of reviews. Now, you can go to waynesgold.com, or you can text Wayne to 35052. Again, you can go to waynesgold.com, or you can text Wayne to 35052. You need to protect what you built. Okay, you need to protect what you built, and that's why we tell you about Augusta Precious Metals. Okay, big news out today, this morning. Since y'all are tired of talking about Iran and Trump and Israel, since y'all don't want to talk about that no more, we'll go with this foil plot. This foil terror plot. No, ladies and gentlemen, NewsGuard, it is, I guess, I'm not going to say it's a distraction or anything. It's not measured. We don't know if it really happened. Just like those Russians that Biden and the Biden administration brought out, read those Russian names back there in the day, those 12 Russian names that nobody ever heard anything about ever since. Those 12 Russians, Igor Alexandrovsky, that had any dealings with whatever. We never heard anything. No prosecution from that. But the FBI, out of the blue, Kash Patel has come out. I don't know where he's been. He's been real quiet lately. But FBI has come out now and basically said that they foiled a terror plot on the UFC. So that's where the news cycle is right this morning. It's kind of moved away from the Iran situation. And Jason, you Jason has his update information about UFC 250 Freedom Sunday night. Go, Jason.
I got to ask, you seem skeptical about the FBI plot.
Oh, I'm 100%. Well, I'm always skeptical about stuff like this. It's not just this. I was skeptical about, like I said, the Russians and Biden. I was skeptical about Obama and the Russian. I'm just skeptical about the government. I've always been skeptical. So yeah, I'm skeptical.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm skeptical.
Did you review the details that were released?
Released by who? The government? I'm skeptical, man. I mean, there's no way to quantify it. There's no way to see anything. It's only what the government tells you. And most of the time when we're on the show, we don't believe a whole lot of stuff that the government puts out. So, but UFC 250, you were talking about that before we ended the show last night. What did you think about the event? Yeah.
Well, I think the event was phenomenal myself. I think part of how we reclaim America is getting back to Americana type stuff. I look at the celebration of America's 250th anniversary, and it fills my heart with glee. And to me, something like UFC is very much in line with, and I don't watch much UFC, but it's very much in line with, I think, a lot of the values that especially a lot of the conservatives have. It's physical sport. Dana White, I think he's one of the greatest American success stories. The guy who came from nowhere to build a huge asset, a huge, like sports industry. Like this didn't even exist 20 years ago, at this level. I think he did kind of what Vince McMahon did for pro wrestling, where he kind of took it from the fringes and made it a mainstream thing. I think the fact that the White House put together this event as a kickoff for America's 250th anniversary, I'm just thrilled. It's, as you go through the fights, there was a lot of great moments. There was a couple cringy ones too, like the guy who said Michelle Obama's a man. That one was a little cringe. I mean, you make the jokes, but time and place, right? I mean, we make fun of Bridget Macron. Is she a man? Michelle Obama, is she a man? Is it Big Mike? I mean, I think many of us have made those kind of jokes, but I don't know if I would have done that on the White House with what that was. There was a lot of misconceptions about the funding. Dana White went on and they had asked him afterwards, like, how do you like it? He's like, I'm so proud to do this. I'm so proud to do it as an American. He was really pumped. And he's like, yeah, for what it cost me, like, there's no way I could afford to do this again. Because most of the expenses were absorbed by the people hosting the UFC absorbed a lot of those costs. So I think that was great. And some people got a little, nitpicky. A couple of guys came out playing Spanish music. Well, that's the music, they're from those countries and you're going to have them fighting in there. But overall, I thought it just made me so glad. And I can't wait as we continue going through the summer and we keep having event after event. that really celebrates Americana. And I think it's really beneficial, especially for the young people, because we grew up in a time where you celebrated and you loved America. We all agreed capitalism's the way, Christianity's the way. While you can be distrustful of things like the Vietnam War or whatnot, like generally speaking, everybody agreed they loved America. And in the last 30 years, we've lost that. And I think, something to rally people around how great America is. I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan. As for the plot, Cash came out and announced it yesterday, and just the details as they've been released, and these have been corroborated by court affidavits and reports. The alleged plot was they intended to use explosive laden drones that they were going to detonate over or near buildings by the event site. Ideally, then that would cause panic and force crowds to evacuate southward toward a pre-positioned sniper team for the shooting. Some elements allegedly involve trying to storm the gates or jumpstart the revolution. The key suspect who has been charged, and there's charging documents that are available, is Tyson Proper. I don't have a lot of details on him. Evidently, he's charged with attempted murder, firearm violations. He allegedly planned it, a lot of it through Signal. He bought rifles, ammo, gear, described the drone evacuation scheme in the interviews they've done. And those interviews are available. NBC News reported on them. His family flagged concerning behaviors about his firearm purchases, the online chants, anti-Semitic comments. That was also reported by NBC. And then it sounds like I've seen different numbers between 19 and 23 people were involved in the chat. The FBI is saying they became aware of it around June 10th. And then they kind of worked hard to prevent it. So, I see a lot of left-wing violence rising. I see a lot of crazy things starting to happen. And, to me, it feels like we're going back into the 70s where, we've talked about it on the show. A lot of people don't realize how much violence there was in the streets in the 70s. It does sound like the kid, too, in his interview said he was targeting the capitalist elites, the billionaires, and politicians who received APAC funding. So, yeah, it's a pretty scary thing. I mean, if people are skeptical, then, we'll get to see the court documents, so we'll know for sure.
All right. Let's see. Let me go to the chat to see what everybody wants to talk about today.
You okay there, dude? You seem off today.
No. I'm just. Let's see. Have you all seen what the Hoover Dam did? What did the Hoover Dam do? Becky said, "What? The Hoover Dam. What's up with the Hoover Dam?"
I think they were decorating it for the for America's 250.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, a giant
USA flag and decorations.
Giant America 250 flag. Okay, all right. This is the kind of okay, great. Okay, great. Thank you for that. Becky said it looks hot.
Can you pull up the image?
No. Let's see. You know what? I don't even know how to put the image. This ain't StreamYard.
Oh, right. Yeah, Todd and I were running into that. We went back to StreamYard. We're like, we've given Rumble a good go.
Yeah. There was a crash yesterday. B-52 at
training exercise. It sounds like
Stratoforce. Yeah. Exploded in a huge fireball. Some lives were lost. Was it 12 member crew? 12
like that.
8-member crew. A huge plume of black smoke could be seen from miles and miles away. So our thoughts and prayers go out to the victims and their families on that one. I remember when I was working with the Stealth Fighter up in Tonopah Test Range. Uh, they the the amount of safety that goes along with flying is really serious. I think in speaking with my therapist and stuff about my PTSD and stuff, uh, a lot of that I think happened or came around that because I was responsible for their training booklets for each of the pilots' training booklets. And when you're around that plane, the F117A, and when you're changing out top secret and uh, uh, details and stuff, and you got to do 3 and 4 checks on each of those booklets to make sure each pilot has the things. Their lives are in your hands. I'll say it like that. Their lives are in your hands, especially when I went over to Saudi. I was almost a basket case. So when you hear about, and the reason why I bring that up is because of the safety measures that go into before a plane leaves. You're doing this, you're doing that, you're checking this, you're checking that, you check. If you ever taken a flight, some of the things. If you look out the window, you see the people go like this and that. But on the military flight line, let me tell you something. That thing is so clean. that what's it called? The tarmac is so clean you can eat off of it. The safety checks that they do on everything is so by the numbers, and the checklist is almost exhaustive. So when you see something like this, there's going to be a whole lot of investigation into this. You can bet your bottom dollar about this one. There's going to be a lot of investigation all the way down from the plane, all the way down to who worked on it last week, and who worked on it the week before that. They're going to be checking logs on top of logs. They're going to be bringing people in, because, and I think this is second nature. This is second priority about how much it costs. Okay. But they just want to make sure that this doesn't happen again. That it wasn't like a terror plot or anything like that. But there's going to be a whole lot of investigation into this. So, again, I really feel sorry for it. It was really bad. It was really bad.
Yeah, I was just looking to see how many we even have of those B-2 bombers. Was it the B-2?
Yeah.
I mean, not to discount
No.
the human loss, but we only own, that we know of, 20 B-2 bombers.
B-52. B-52.
B-52?
Yeah. Nuclear capable. Yep. And it's 8 people.
Okay.
B-52 Stratos Fortress. 85 million, but
wasn't that the one that they used for the big Iran when they took
I was wondering about that too. Because when I first heard it, I was like, was that over there? But but then when they said it was over here, I was like, oh, but yeah, that
Oh my gosh, yeah. So this thing, we own 76 of those, and there's different. Oh my god, the cost like $100 million. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, and it makes you wonder if it's if there was some. I mean, clearly there was some sort of failure because that thing's double check, triple check. quadruple check, but you wonder if there wasn't something more nefarious afoot, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that's because again, stuff like that just doesn't happen, you know.
Right.
Especially just taking off, you know. And I said, dude, they're gonna be checking people that worked on it for the last few weeks, maybe even last month, because you never know. And Jason, they're gonna be talking about checking. It's not just you bringing Jason Robinson here to talk.
Right.
They're gonna be checking Jason's bank accounts, records, phone records. They're gonna be checking all that because you never know if somebody got paid, somebody, uh, uh, communications and stuff like that. Oh man, this,
Well, it's funny in the chat. Mark mentioned you need to read Mongol Moon or listen to the
he
audiobook.
is stuck. All right, okay, guy.
I told you. Series, and then there's a third one he's writing on, and the guy who writes them is a military guy who literally does wargaming, and he takes he works with corporations and military, and what he does for a job is somebody presents him with a scenario like, let's say the B-52 crashed, how could that happen? And he actually builds a plausible scenario where this could happen. But it's funny because one of the parts of the book that I find so fascinating is that, yeah, look at that Bubba. Bubba knows all the military stuff. The B-2 was a bomber in Midnight Hammer. B-52 was the current one. Thank you, Bubba.
Yeah.
But in the book, he weaves in all the pieces that you see happening in the world. And it's funny because like this B-52 bomber, he could totally make a scenario for how this happened where it could be nefarious. 10 years ago they got some Russian guy working on the project, and then he was filtering the secrets back to Russia, and then they booby trapped the plane. Like, those are the kind of scenarios he kind of puts together. It's pretty awesome.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, Jesus. Yeah, but that is the another big story that came out this morning too. What do you think about you mentioned Elon Musk yesterday too? You mentioned Elon Musk being the first trillionaire.
Oh my God, I think he's up to 1.4 trillion. Yeah, no, SpaceX, hopefully some of our viewers got in on SpaceX stock. It got an IPO when it went on the market at 150, and I looked at it a couple hours ago, and it was already up to $228 a share. Not giving financial advice. I think it's kind of a bubble where I think people are excited, but to tell a story, a friend of mine he's a Democrat. I've talked about him before on the show. When Elon was like the hero of the left, he actually bought $10,000 worth of Tesla stock. And this is like 10 years ago, and it's worth now like $300,000. It's
Wow.
like the cornerstone of his retirement plan. He's a little older than me. And so it's fascinating that what will happen with SpaceX and like the long-term vision of SpaceX. I think they're tied to the data centers. They're also tied to, like, Elon Musk has made reusable rockets, and their long-term plan is like, how do we colonize Mars?
Yeah.
Which I think as a country, if you figure, in the 60s and 70s, the whole space race, all that stuff was a big thing. And we were getting a lot of advancements and advancing civilization. And then, the country kind of took a hard shift to, why are we sending rockets to space when people are starving? And we kind of quit doing cool stuff like that. And we started allocating more resources to government benefits. And it's good to see entrepreneurs who are shifting. One thing Elon did that was super cool too, and I've heard different numbers between 400 and 4,000. His employees, when he hired them, it sounds like he gave most of them a deal and said, okay, do you want to make this amount of money and That's just your salary, or do you want to make a little less and I'll give you shares of stock? So the company got to, or the people that worked, even the janitors got to say, well, no, I'll, instead of making $30 an hour, I'll make 28 and I'll take my shares of my options when the company goes public. So different reports, but between 400 and 4,000 employees of SpaceX are now multimillionaires by taking the investment. I mean, that's how capitalism is supposed to work, right? You're supposed to create something, bring people along with you. The people that invest in the time and the money, like, they should be richly rewarded. And it's fascinating because Elon Musk, like, even though he wasn't originally from the country, like, that's the kind of immigrant you want. The guy that comes, embraces American ideals, and is just building super cool things. And you see a lot of hate on the left, like, oh, if we just taxed Elon Musk, like, we could feed everybody would have everything free in their life. It's like they're totally missing the plot. Like, Elon Musk has built things that have made America better. And it's like Jeff Bezos. Somebody wants to get mad at how Jeff Bezos works. Like, I wish Jeff Bezos was worth twice as much as he is now, because, like, I don't need to steal his money, and I don't think, like, I think Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk are building things that make our life better. And, like, God love them for, I never am envious of the success other people have.
No, I'm not either. Yeah, I'm not either. Because I mean, if people can make the money, then, or if people can do what they want to do, then people can do what they want to do. Or that's just how it should be. But I tell you this, he can't take it with him. That's all I'm saying. He can't take it with him. People can make all the money that you want. You can do all that stuff, but it's not going in it. It's not going in the next life. And I think I read he said that he doesn't plan on leaving it to his children, or to most of his children. I read that when the day, or from the New York Post, that I'm not going, he's because actually he has individuals that he, if something happened to him or whatnot, it would go mostly to them, to take care of the companies and stuff like that. But his fortune wouldn't go to his children, which is, I mean, for me, I probably leave it to my children. But,
I think what'll be interesting as he evolves, and talking about Elon Musk's wealth, Elon doesn't have that much money.
no,
Elon Musk
I was telling somebody that too.
Elon Musk has assets.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, the Wayne Dupree Rumble channel, that's an asset that's worth money. You could sell that to somebody.
Think so, do you?
Yeah. Yeah, no, literally, like, social media pages, they are for sale.
Yeah, I
Websites,
heard that.
they are for
I heard that.
sale. I'm working with the young kid that built an e-commerce site, and he's putting it on the market for tens of millions of dollars. And, like, I worked with him. I did some like, kid did great. And, like, all these things have assets. So I own a rental house. Rental house is worth $400,000.
That
It's
makes
not
sense.
new money. Like, I can't cash that out unless I want to go sell a rental house, and I still got a mortgage on it and all these things. So when people talk about Elon Musk and his wealth, the guy doesn't have a lot of cash. The guy has a lot of assets. So if he died tomorrow, like, there are shares of Tesla and shares of SpaceX and shares of all these companies that people are going to get, that where the money goes. And I got to say, in the chat, Becky's bonus kid worked for SpaceX, I think, got a salary and shares. So hopefully Becky's son, bonus kid, got a lot of shares. So then Becky can afford to retire too.
No. We were just talking about that B-52 thing.
Mhm.
I just got a notification. Ladies and gentlemen, there's update on that. Investigators, like I said, are trying to determine the cause of the bomber crash. When I said about was it 58 or 85? It was 85 million, right?
Yeah, I think 85 million.
85 million. That's just something that's just not going to go away. Now, I understand that there were deaths and, and those are at the top of the thing. Okay. The money of the plane should be on the back end. But when it's something like this, they're going to do some exhaustive investigation, like I said. So, investigators are trying to determine cause. The crash occurred during a routine test mission. Immediately after takeoff, it crashed and burst into flames. The cause has not been determined and could take months to confirm. Like I said before, and that's from the LA Times. Like I said before, they're going deep into this one because somebody got paid.
Yeah, one of 70 some 80 planes crashed for, let's just call it 100 million. They probably did upgrades and whatever to it.
Look, it might have been 85 when they made it. It's over 100 million right now, because
they had to put the rims on it and the little dice hanging from the rearview mirror. And think of all the training and all that stuff, all the hours and vetting. I can't even imagine how much you'd have to vet all the people working on that project.
Not only that, but with this investigation, with this exhaustive, intensive thing that they're going to go over the next couple of months, probably even a year, training has to be fixed now. They have to go and rewrite certain things of the training books and the instruction books, and then you have to go to the classes for that, and so it doesn't happen again, whatever they find. Now, I don't know. You know what? It could. I mean, he's out there in California. You never know. You never know. It's a whole lot of people
nefarious.
Again, hey, you never know, Jason. Out there in California, it's closer to Russia and China. You never know. And you know how the Chinese investors are buying land around these Air Force base, military bases and stuff. You never know.
All right, Wayne, I'm just going to say it. I'm going to give you'd think I'd be getting a commission on getting you to read Mongol Moon.
God,
but I will say the guy was great. Will did an interview with him, and he's super nice guy.
Is it a movie out or something like that? Or
no, just it's a real book. I've been getting on you about reading. Reading's just good for your brain. You can do the audio book, but it's funny because
7 though. I mean,
he spells out all the stuff in the book, and you're like, oh yeah, like he addresses the Chinese land by these military bases and how people use to get things through customs and then the activities that happen. And yeah, I mean, if you don't have your own tinfoil hat before reading books like that, you will after, because you'll be sitting there going, holy crap, like this is very plausible. And then it makes sense because like this guy, that's his job. Like the government hires him and says, okay, here's this scenario. Like, how could this be used? Like Chinese are buying farms near military bases. And he comes up with multiple scenarios. When you hear wargaming, that's what this is, of like what could happen. And it's kind of like if you see combat, before they go into combat, like your team sits down and presents, the 2, 3, 4, 5 different things that could happen once things get going. And it's just pretty wild.
Yeah. I don't know if y'all watching the World Cup. The USA has a big game coming up against Australia, I think, on Friday, the 19th, at 3:00 in the afternoon. Something happened yesterday or day before yesterday that Americans probably won't really even think about, but Americans should think about it. Japan, the Japanese fans, the Japanese soccer fans, after the game was over in the Texas stadium, they all stayed behind and cleaned it up.
Crazy, isn't it?
they stayed behind to clean up the stadium. Not only did they clean up the stadium, they also cleaned up the locker room. That's crazy, y'all. I mean, no, wait. It's not crazy. That's something else. I mean, for them to stay behind after the whole, and basically, if you ask them why, it's their culture. That's what they said. That's what they do. That's their culture. I think I was talking to Lisa briefly about it this morning. It's like Japan is one of the cleanest places around. But then again, and I kind of mentioned this to her, so is China. Their trash trucks are clean. I mean, they literally clean their trash trucks. I mean, the trash trucks are spotless, but should that teach us anything? I mean, and I know it's the 250th anniversary of the United States of America, but God darn, I could have swore when I was growing up it was a whole lot cleaner than what it is right now. I mean, yeah, it was trash here and trash there, but when I was growing up, my dad took me to a landfill. Stunk to high heaven, but my dad took me to a landfill one time, but when I was young, we used to come to Baltimore. Baltimore looked a whole lot cleaner. Mayor Schaefer before he was the governor. Baltimore was so much cleaner. Streets looked a whole lot better. People back then, I don't know if they have this up there in Minnesota or, well, they probably did, but they used to have trash cans hanging on the trees, on the side of the trees. So if you saw something on the street, you just put it in the trash can, and the trash can. When I say hanging on the trees, it wasn't on the ground; it was hanging around the bark of the tree. So it's easy to take the bag out and don't have that now. It's trash everywhere. Trash everywhere, and nobody wants to pick it up. Everybody want to get a video of somebody getting beat up or mugged or sliced or theft but nobody wants to clean up. Crazy. That's crazy. But to even watch them going from row to row, they all had these blue trash bags and whatnot, and they're sitting in there just loving the game, and after that they take their time and then they clean up the stadium. I think Americans, I know, American pride, but I think Americans could learn from that. But the future. Yeah. Did you hear about the story?
Oh yeah, I actually had a tweet go viral on it.
Did you really? Okay, all right.
Yeah. I mean, I think it underscores a couple things. When Japan has a unified culture, their culture creates excellence. That's why they both die at 50 years old. I'm exaggerating. And that's also why Japan is hugely successful. I mean, to put in perspective, comparing to Baltimore, Japan had their cities destroyed by nuclear weapons,
Yeah.
100 years ago, or however many years ago it was. And they've now recovered, restored, strong sense of national pride.
Why don't you?
Why?
Because we gave them money to rebuild. That's why. Remember we were talking about that yesterday?
Yeah, well, I think we gave them money to rebuild, but Baltimore's had more money than Tokyo, than Nagasaki. So I think you created this sense of civic pride. I think you created this sense of everybody pulls for each other. Everybody, instead of worrying about what everybody else was doing, was worried about what they were doing. And if you look back in America in the 50s or 60s, American was a largely Christian nation. 90% of the people here identified as Christian. They lived those Christian values. They cleaned up. after themselves. They shoveled their driveway. They would shovel their neighbor's driveway. And as we've drifted further and farther from those Christian values, yeah, it's not gone well for the country. The inner cities have been hit really hard. I think God is largely out of a lot of our inner cities. I think a lot of our youth is falling further from God, and they're worshiping more material things, and it has degraded the society. And I think the immigrants who come here not sharing those values have exacerbated the situation, especially considering they land in some of these communities. Like, a lot of times they land in urban areas. There was an interview, I tweeted about this yesterday too, that KSTP, a local news station, did with a Somali doctor, and they were talking about all the Somali fraud. And this was a quote from the interview. He said, "We have studied this society for a long time. And if there's time, I think there's a way to explain it. In the 80s, with the collapse of the Somali state, which in many ways predated by a tug of war in that country that created the collapse, the disappearance of really any national institutions, most Somalis find themselves fleeing the country, becoming refugees, locally, internationally displaced. When the structures that hold society together begin to melt, you find yourself in a condition where you have the kind of just grab what you can for yourself. It is the intergrum, he called it. It's a period between the old normal and the new normal. So it's a middle ground full of disruption, suspicion, insecurity, which people retreat to a monicum of self-survival. And I think if you look, why are the Somalis stealing from the state? Well, they're 3 generations in to that's how they survived in Somalia. So when you bring them in and don't reconvene them and say, no, that's not how we operate, then that's not what you get. Same with like Muslims coming, everybody coming from these crap hole countries. You bring them in, they're not used to functioning as a normal society. And you already have a society that's decaying because we've lost a lot of those Christian values. And, it's a recipe. I mean, go through homeless encampments down in Minneapolis, go through Baltimore, go to Chicago. I mean, it still baffles me. Like, Chicago has more murders in a weekend than a lot of third world countries. And like, how do the residents of Chicago put up with that? So, yeah, the Japanese, it was pretty heartwarming where they were like just doing God's work. And I'll tell you the last thought, and I'll throw it back to you. If you ever want to know how your neighborhood is, drive through your Walmart and look for shopping carts. Like, go through your Walmart parking lot. If you are in a good neighborhood, because there's no incentive to return a shopping cart to the shopping cart corral. There is no,
except for Costco.
Except for Costco. But talking about Walmart, there's no incentive to return it. There is no punishment if you don't. Right? So if you drive through and you see all the carts are in the corrals, you generally have a population that cares about their friends and neighbors. They want to say, hey, I'm going to put this shopping cart back. If you have a low trust community, they aren't going to take the extra 20 steps to put the shopping cart back. They're going to leave it where it is. And it's fascinating because like this weekend we were shopping, somebody at our local Walmart, which always used to have like all the carts were always in the corral, and they closed. We called it Sketchy Walmart. Now the clientele has degraded at our Walmart. There was somebody leaving the electric scooter in the parking lot. It was a gal and her son, and they get out there, they leave, and they left the electric scooter out in the thing. And I understand if it's a handicapped person by themselves, they can't maneuver that. But it's like, when you tell your kid, like, hey, son, can you just buzz this back up there? And
Good
yeah.
attitude.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like we've lost that as a society. And I think
and everything Jason said is valid. From my point of view, it's just the in addition to what he said, the laziness of Americans, this dependent attitude, this dependent type of way of life that many Americans have grown accustomed to, thinking that the government should come in and take control of certain things. We've even seen, well, I won't hurt nobody's feelings, but the way that people rely on the government for almost everything now. They rely on government, or they cry out to the government to fix this and fix that and fix that first before they even think of doing it themselves. And when I think that's why some people are afraid of AI taking over to a point, because once you create laziness in itself hurts everybody around you, because you can't be a homeowner and be lazy. Can't do it. You can't be a parent and be lazy. Can't do it. Can't be a teacher and be lazy. You can't do it. But guess what? That's what we've seen over the last 50, 60 years. Because I guess people is, they're going by the numbers now. There's really not a whole lot. It should be incentive, but there isn't incentive anymore. And with the way that things are rising and things aren't rising, and so many people have gotten so comfortable and so reliant on, my paycheck hasn't gone up in 5-6 years, or I'm only getting 10%, 10 cents raise and 30 cents raise, and this is not worth it. Okay. Those things continue to go up, but the quality of your work and the quality of your attitude and the quality of how you deal with people and deal with things has gone down. It's like, you really don't have everybody to say, God darn, y'all, stop this stuff. Stop it. I mean, honestly, I don't even know if I would feel bad if they got back to 13 channels and ended each night with the American flag at 12 o'clock and just shut everything off. I really don't think that would be a bad idea. I really don't. Because without it, and this right here, I know I got one. I got one. And it's addictive. I ain't gonna lie. Phone is addictive. Addictive. TV is addictive. My old pastor, when he was alive, he used to call it the hellophone. Hellophone and the Hellivision. Yep, sure did. He used to be like, y'all get in church on Sunday, y'all pray and you cry and you shout and you do all this stuff in church, and when you get home, you get on the telephone and you lose everything everything you got in church, you lose it by getting on the telephone. Just so many lazy people. Now, Jason brought in the immigrants. Again, valid. But man, these Americans are pampered. And it sucks to say that. Americans are just pampered. They think that stuff is just going to be given to them on a server. Hard work is not being rewarded anymore. You remember what's that participation trophy stuff? Everybody gets it. Everybody gets it. Everybody gets rewarded. You can work hard, but everybody out there in Vegas, those people, the people on the shifts, they get tips. Nope, they don't get the tips. Everybody on the shift gets the tips. They put her in a whole pool, and what's that Oprah Winfrey thing? You get a TV, you get a TV, you get a TV. Everybody gets a TV. It's like, come on, man. That's not how America is supposed to be. And now that right there, I don't blame on the immigrants. I blame that on these repugnant leaders that have been in these city council seats, these state council seats for decades, and just getting paid behind in those smoky back rooms and stuff. Now they're not smoky; they just do it in front of your face. But all years of those smoky back rooms and making all those deals and enriching their pockets and stuff, like another thing that happened up there with that Minnesota thing, that female, the female, and created that board. No, I think those are two different things, though, wasn't it? It was two. No. It was the same thing. The woman that allowed or that was in charge of all that fraud and stuff, she's in jail now, right? She's in jail. You know what I'm talking about. She created that board, executive board, and those people came out. I didn't even know what the board was about. She just put my name on there and stuff. It's like these people get up there and they do all types of devilish stuff, and for some reason they don't think they're gonna be caught. They just think they are not gonna be caught. It's just checks and balances, man. Checks and balances. Somebody else I was talking. It might have been Lisa this morning about checks and. Oh yeah. Did y'all ever have class in school where they taught you how to balance your checkbook?
Yeah. Home ec. Taught us how to cook, taught us how to sew, taught us how to iron.
Yep.
Taught us how to do a household budget.
We made our own pants. They don't have home ec in school anymore, do they?
Nope. Kids graduate without knowing how to balance a checkbook, do taxes, or that. And it's funny because I think one thing we've lost as a society, other than like there should be a consequence for failure and there should be a reward for success. I mean, if it just
put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah, just to put it in one sentence, like in life, if you suck, you should not do well. Like, and if you do great, you should do really good.
Right.
And by not teaching people that, I'll give you a real world example of how we've become so ingrained. So like in our business, I have 3 other partners. There's 4 of us, and we each do different things, and we make pretty good money doing it. And so does this, so does that. And Wayne can attest, this year things have changed a lot in the digital marketing industry, from where you make money, for how you make money, for what you're doing, what you're selling, all those sorts of things, and what kind of content works, what kind of content doesn't. And it's funny because we were kind of getting in our own ditch where we're kind of being whiny bitches, like, oh God, it's this is down or that's down. Yesterday was a tipping point, and you'll love this, Wayne. We got a notification that like 3 of our Facebook pages had monetization shut down for some sort of posting. Yeah, we just got a notice out of the blue. So we reached out to technical support, and they said, oh yeah, no, the AI flagged you for this violation, but you don't really have it. Oh, okay, well, can you reverse it? And they go, no, we got to appeal and send it in. And I'm like, wait, you can look and see that's not what's happening, but like all of a sudden these pages, like, we can't. And that's like part of our revenue stream. You make content, you get paid. And it was just like out of the blue. I even found a good guy in the helpline who's like, okay, this is it. And like, we were being whiny bitches yesterday. We're like, oh no, this is so bad. Blah, blah, blah. And then that last night and going into tomorrow morning, we said, okay, this is a challenge. What are we going to do? Like, how are we going to fix this? How are we going to get past it?
Yeah, you need to
do what's the solve? Yeah. What was the thing? And even though this was completely unrelated to anything bad we did or what we did, and we just got in the planning stage of saying, okay, well, how about we try this, or we lean more into that, or we do more here, we do more there, and you get out of that whiny bitch stage and get into the like, let's
Yeah,
fix it.
but hey, sometimes though
No,
it take a little bit to get out of that whiny bitch stage though. It's like, God
the
darn, it's like,
faster you get out of it, the better you are. And that's why I have
yeah,
partners in my business, because one of us individually would stay in the whiny bitch stage forever. You know what I mean? We just be sitting there, oh no, I'm suppressed. I can't believe Facebook did
Look,
this
all
to
right,
me.
okay, all right, you can
You
do
are
that,
not
but
suppressed. If you
all
say
right,
you're
okay,
suppressed, you believe it. Don't accept that. It's kind of like Wayne.
I
I
am
mean, not to put you on
surprised.
the spot. If you see somebody who's fat right now and you look at them, don't you just want to shake them and go, how about you just start eating better and exercising?
Nope, I
You,
do
you
not.
just,
I'm
you
sorry.
got some
I'm
family
sorry. I
member
don't.
that's fat and they've been fat for years, and you don't want to just say, man, I did this. It's hard work, but I can get out of this rut.
I
And
can
like,
do that.
yeah,
I can do that.
yeah,
But
but
I'm because um and I even did a video on TikTok yesterday. I didn't get for me. For me, I didn't get fat because I was eating or overeating. I I was eating at the wrong times. You know,
right.
I mean, it's like I wasn't filling my face and getting fat on purpose and stuff. It, there's a whole lot of stuff that was happening: depression, anxiety, panic, all types of stuff that was rolled up into one that contributed to it. And then that's why I wouldn't do it the first way, but I would do it the second way of what you just said.
I'm just saying you can critique the approach, but at the end of the day, you had to stop being a whiny bitch about your weight and take steps and just fix it. I'm just going to eat better and I'm going to exercise. And like I say, you
Yeah,
don't
because
have to like,
that diabetic things scare the hell out of you, though.
yeah, it does. I mean, you had a motivation to want to do better.
Yeah,
And like where it ties into like my business partners and I, we hold each other accountable. Where we're like, if one of us is being a whiny bitch, we just go, quit being a whiny bitch. Let's figure this out. And now today we've got like 4 new things we're going to try and 4 different ideas we're going to pursue and different things we can go after. And I think as a society, we've lost that. You know, if you're in a dead end job, go learn a new skill, like figure something out. If you're stuck in a spot and like you can't get promoted, well, that's probably a you problem. It's probably not a somebody else. I remember when I was back in the retail world, I was sitting across from this guy, Mark, great guy. We were his 3rd company he had been with, and everything he'd make it to a certain level and he'd never get promoted higher. And I sat there to do a mentoring session with him, and he sat there and he told me how everything was because his bosses were wrong and they were idiots and whatnot. And I said, well, what feedback do they give you? He said, oh, I need to be more organized, be more personable, do this. And I said, okay, so let me get this straight. You sat with 3 different companies with people that never met you, and everybody gave you the same feedback. And you're sitting in here telling me it's a them problem, not a you problem. Get out of here. And I just picked up my stuff and I walked out of the room. And a week later, he called me. He goes, you know what? If everybody's telling me I'm wrong, maybe I am. Maybe I should try doing this a different way. And it was funny. The guy changed his ways. He's like, okay, what are things I can do? And so I gave him a few things to try. He started doing them, and then he started having career success. And then he started doing better. He eventually got promoted 2 levels up from
mm,
where he was pigeonholed at. But it's like, it's no magic wand I did. I just got him to see, like, hey, what you're doing is not working. And every time I talk to a friend or family member who wants to be, oh, this is crap. I didn't do this or that, or I'm not getting promoted. It's like, well, learn a new skill, do better at your job. Like you control that. You are
yeah.
only giving them the power if you're giving them the power. You want to lose weight, lose weight. I think a lot of people who like you struggle with depression and that kind of stuff, go to church. Like my pastor says it all the time. Like if your way isn't working, go to church. Make every excuse in the book. Give me every reason you can't get up on Sunday. Go to church and then join an adult group on Wednesday night and try it for 6 months and tell me it was a waste of your time. And I have a family member who's going through stuff. And I'm like, well, you should go to church. And she's like, oh, I can't. Like, I've tried 40 churches around my house and they were all bad and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, all excuses and no excuse is a good excuse. None are accepted. If you want to like change your life and improve. Like she's going through some like personal stuff. I'm like, start by going to church. How did Jen get through her anxiety? Like we were to the point she couldn't leave the house. She went to church and prayed about it. And it's like, it's like, you know, just take that step. Don't give up your agency to somebody else. Sorry, that was kind of a rant. I was fired up. I was just so proud of the guys I work with today, though, because they were like, let's quit being whiny bitches. Let's just figure this out.
Yeah. Well, I am suppressed, and I've been suppressed since 2020. But in the way of what Facebook has showed me, well, actually, Jay, that him and his group have done, because I feel like, okay, I gotta do these articles, I gotta do a show, and I gotta do it's almost, well, it's been a one-man shop for a long time. However, Jason told me about the bonuses, the creative bonuses that Facebook has been putting out. And Facebook basically tells you certain things that you have to do at a certain time. And if you can get all this in, they wanted like 17 reels in 5 days or something like that.
Well, when it posted, they gave you 7 days.
Huh?
When it first posted, they gave you 7 days. You just didn't see it till you were a few days in.
Yeah. So, okay. So, you know, you can get $50. It's almost like a dangling carrot type of thing. But hey, I mean, you know, you got to do what you got to do. Jason showed me, okay, go into here and try to work out through that. Okay. So I've been doing that for the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks, right? And then I realized, or I saw like they have the AI thing that I mentioned the other day. One of the suggestions was create 3 lifestyle posts, and you have 5 days to create 3 lifestyle posts, put them up, and share them. Cross post them for maybe $5 more or whatnot. Okay, fine. Yeah, I'll do that. It comes back that Facebook is saying, hey, guess what? Your lifestyle post did better than your political post. We opened up, or basically, you have seen more non-follower type of views and engagement than your regular stuff. This is what else you should do. It's like, wait a minute, they're trying to lead me away from, you know what I'm saying? They're trying to lead me away from what I'm doing. And then you get to the idea, well, if that's what is going to work, then I guess that's what's got to work, I guess, on this platform. You know, that's not for any other platform. That's just Facebook, you know? So, yeah, you know, if y'all see a lifestyle post that isn't political or whatnot, that's me.
Well, it's funny you say that, because like how we structure our business, there are things we want to talk about that we feel passionately about that there's just no way to monetize, right?
Mhm.
Or it's hard to monetize. Will writes those, puts them on the Substack, because you know, that way, that is the purest form. People find it and they decide if they're going to pay you to read your stuff or not. There is no any other influence. That is your survival of the fittest. Like, now for some of the other stuff, we try to write articles that people are interested in, you know, because we have a financial incentive. We want to pick things that interest people, and then we want to create content that people want to read. That's how we pay our bills, you know? So that's not being steered, that's being whatever. And you have multiple properties, you know. If my advice, if I were giving you business advice, would be create content on some of the properties that you have no financial incentive. If you really feel like I just need to say this, put it one spot, and on the other spot, make content that is something that you know, that you're going in with a financial incentive. Like today, it came out, the New York Giants, I believe it was, had 3 players that they, instead of wearing their pride flag, they put a Christian phrase on their pride hat, and they've been warned that if they do that, they're going to get fined. Like, so they're targeting Christianity, in my opinion. Like, they wouldn't do that. Like, you could write a pride message on your hat anytime. You can't write a Christian message on your hat. That's just not okay. And, I mean, that's content that people were very passionate about. We tweeted about it, wrote an article about it. Like, people were interested in that story. So,
I'm finding myself, along with the lifestyle stuff, there's a whole lot of people interested in the WNBA right now. About the way that things are going down, the backlash, the Caitlin Clark thing, the Paige Beckers thing. I mean, though I am in that's right. I'm in a WNBA group on Facebook, and I am looking at the way that these people are engaging and talking about this thing. I'm like, let me slide on in here. You know what I'm saying? Let me slide on in here. I might not know everything, but if I put some controversy in here, I'm damn sure going to get some engagement. Let me slide on in here.
There are people that make a living writing about the WNBA. I'm just saying, like, I tell this to the guys, my partners, all the time. Like, if you're making content and you aren't getting any engagement, before you say you're suppressed, you're just not making content that your audience wants to hear. There might be a component of suppression, things you can't talk about.
Or is how you say it too, because where you stop using those think tank words, and when you make the decision to stop using certain words, then people are like, okay, well, I'm gonna go, just like we talked about the church. If I don't hear what I want in this church, then I go and find another church that I can hear the words that I want to hear from. So if the content person that you have been listening to for a long time isn't saying the same thing that you want to hear, you're going to walk away and find somebody else that you want to hear whatever you want to hear from. And that's I think in a way that might be what you're saying. All right, Jason, let's get out of here. It's 1:07. We
ran over.
I got to get out and get some sun because it's cold. I mean, it's cold down here, and I don't know what to make for dinner. So, what'd you make for dinner?
Well, it's funny. I think I told everybody Sunday we were going to make a turkey breast, and then our 90-year-old friend wanted to take us out to dinner. And then last night we were going to make a turkey breast, and it got sidetracked with our night because we had a doctor's appointment or a vet appointment for my little dog because of her knee. So now today we're on day 3 of planning on making the turkey breast, but that may not happen depending on how the episode goes. Yesterday we were all set, and then Wayne, you would have died because you've had this happen. Like it was like right about noon. I'm getting off the podcast, and all of a sudden my buddies are pinging me like, "Oh my god, these couple pages got shut down on monetization. What should we do? What should we post?" So it was a whole afternoon of dealing with stuff. So yeah, hopefully turkey breast. Hopefully tomorrow I'm talking about how excited I am for a turkey breast sandwich, but we'll see. How about you? You don't know what you're cooking?
Dude, I mean, look. I don't know what I'm cooking. And while you were talking earlier, for some reason, salmon cakes came into my head while you were talking. So I don't know. Maybe I may even make some salmon cakes. I don't know. It's, oh man. I really want to get out there on that grill, but how much chicken can you eat? You know what I'm saying?
Every day.
Okay. Yeah. There you go.
What's that Bubba Gump thing? Bubba Gump talking about a shrimp. You can have fried and breaded and fried. Just substitute chicken, you'll be fine. You can make fajitas. You can make tacos. You can make sandwiches. You can make chicken salad. You can have chicken breast.
Lord, yeah, but look, that smoke, that pit barrel and that smoke taste. I gotta tell you, there's nothing like it. I mean, it's like Mission Barbecue, or these veteran smoke places with the barbecue and stuff. It was just like that. I mean, it was, well, it was kind of rubbery first, but I mean, it was great. It was great, and I can't wait to get back out there on it. All right, Jason, last thoughts real quick.
Thanks for tuning in. We love you guys. Discover your Americana. Summer of 250. Let's celebrate. Greatest country in the history of mankind. And final thought, let today be the day that you have that thing you said you weren't going to do, but if you do it, it's going to make your life better. Let today be the day you do that thing, whatever that is.
Tomorrow is our Friday, your Wednesday. We're doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for the foreseeable future, because you're looking at 2 men that got to work. So Jason got some pages taken down. Both of us are in the poorhouse. Well, we're close to the poorhouse right now, so we're trying to fix things up. So pray for us, and we'll see you tomorrow.